Why does he suddenly become quiet? Why does he pull back when everything seemed fine yesterday? And why does she start thinking again and again, replaying every word, every message, every silence? Here is the strong truth. When he becomes distant, she does not lose peace because of him, she loses peace because of her thoughts. And Marcus Aurelius understood this centuries ago. This is not a story about men versus women. It is about human nature, fear, and misunderstanding. Marcus Aurelius never spoke directly about modern relationships, but his wisdom explains them better than most advice today. A man becomes distant for many reasons, not always because he stopped caring, not always because he found someone else, often because he is dealing with something inside himself. Men are taught from a young age to solve problems alone, and when pressure increases, many men go silent. They withdraw not to hurt others, but to think. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself," and a man often becomes strict with himself first. He questions his value, his success, his purpose, and when he feels unsure, he pulls back. Now look at her side. She notices the distance immediately. Short replies, late responses, less warmth, and her mind starts running. Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? Is there someone else? Marcus Aurelius warned about this mental trap when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." But she gives power to his silence, and silence becomes a monster in her thoughts. The more he pulls away, the more she reaches out emotionally. The more she reaches out, the more he feels pressure. And this creates a painful loop where he feels overwhelmed and she feels abandoned. Neither is evil, neither is weak. They are simply reacting differently to discomfort. Marcus Aurelius believed most suffering comes from interpretation, not reality. The reality is simple. He is quiet. But the interpretation becomes he doesn't care anymore, and these are not the same. Stoicism teaches us to pause before assigning meaning. Men often go distant when they feel they are failing somewhere in work, money, purpose, or self-worth, and they fear showing weakness, so they retreat. Women often overthink because connection equals safety, and distance feels like danger. Marcus Aurelius wrote that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Distance is external, overthinking is internal. This is where most relationships break, not because of distance, but because of assumptions. She assumes silence means rejection. He assumes space will fix everything, and both are wrong. A Stoic response is calm observation, asking what is actually happening without emotion added. He is quiet, that is all. Not he is done, not I am not enough. Stoicism teaches emotional discipline, not emotional suppression. She does not need to chase, test, or imagine worst-case stories, and he does not need to disappear completely or shut down communication, but Stoicism always starts with the self. Marcus Aurelius said, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, and overthinking is self-created suffering. When she overthinks, she gives away control, and when he avoids communication, he avoids responsibility. The Stoic path asks both to grow, for her to control thoughts before they control her, and for him to control silence before it damages trust. But the first responsibility is always internal. You cannot control why he is distant, you can control how you respond, because panic feeds the cycle while calm breaks it. A calm presence feels safe, pressure pushes people away, and Marcus Aurelius believed inner stability attracts respect. When she stops chasing clarity emotionally, clarity often comes naturally, and when he feels less pressure, he often returns, not as manipulation but as emotional maturity. Distance does not always mean loss. Sometimes it means processing. Overthinking does not always mean love. Sometimes it means fear. Marcus Aurelius would remind us not to let the future disturb us, because silence today does not define tomorrow. When she chases answers emotionally, she believes she is trying to save the connection. but what she is really doing is feeding her own anxiety. Marcus Aurelius would say that reacting without clarity is letting emotions lead reason, and Stoicism never allows emotion to sit on the throne. The more she asks what is wrong, the more messages she sends, the more explanations she demands, the heavier the situation becomes. To her, questions feel like care, but to him, questions feel like pressure. He already feels confused inside, and now he feels responsible for calming someone else's fear. So he retreats further, not because he does not care, but because he feels he is failing at being strong. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man should not act as if he has 10,000 years to live, meaning do not waste energy on unnecessary mental drama, yet overthinking does exactly that. Every imagined scenario drains emotional strength. She imagines arguments that never happened, betrayals that never occurred, endings that are not real. This mental noise makes it impossible for her to hear reality. A Stoic understands that clarity comes from stillness, not pursuit. When she steps back emotionally, something powerful happens, the dynamic changes. Her calm removes the pressure, and his mind finally has space. Many people fear silence, but Marcus Aurelius respected silence because silence reveals truth. In silence, a man reconnects with his direction. In silence, emotions settle. But silence must not be mixed with fear. Fearful silence feels like abandonment. Calm silence feels like confidence. This difference is everything. When she remains composed, she communicates without words that she trusts herself. That self-trust is attractive. Marcus Aurelius believed that self-respect is the foundation of all relationships. If she loses herself while trying to hold on to someone, she teaches him that her peace depends on him and that weight pushes people away. Stoicism teaches emotional independence, not emotional coldness. She can care without clinging. She can love without losing dignity. Overthinking often comes from trying to control outcomes. She wants certainty, reassurance, guarantees. But Marcus Aurelius warned that seeking certainty in other people is a trap, because people are external, and externals are unstable. The Stoic approach is to focus inward, on character, values, and response. When she shifts her focus back to her own life, work, health, and growth, she sends a silent message that she is whole. This does not mean ignoring him or playing games. It means choosing self-command over emotional reaction. Meanwhile, the man, feeling less pressure, begins to reflect. He realizes that distance alone does not solve anything. Marcus Aurelius believed that avoidance is not strength. Discipline is. If he values the connection, he eventually understands that clarity must be communicated, even briefly. A simple message, space does not mean rejection, but fear often stops him from sending it. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of appearing weak, fear of not having answers yet. Stoicism teaches courage, the courage to speak honestly without over-explaining. When both sides act from fear, distance grows. When even one person acts from reason, the cycle breaks. That is why Stoicism starts with the self. If she becomes emotionally steady, the relationship either stabilizes or reveals its truth. And truth, even when painful, is always better than endless guessing. Marcus Aurelius said that what does not benefit the hive does not benefit the bee. Endless overthinking benefits no one. Calm presence benefits both. Distance then becomes information, not a threat. It shows whether the bond is based on fear or respect. And respect always survives silence. When calm replaces overthinking, something deeper becomes visible, the truth of the connection itself. Marcus Aurelius believed that time and pressure reveal character, not words. If a man returns with honesty after distance, it shows maturity. If he stays distant without explanation, it also gives clarity. In both cases, the woman gains peace because she is no longer fighting shadows in her mind. Stoicism teaches acceptance, not resignation. Acceptance means seeing reality clearly and responding with self-respect. Many people believe holding on tightly keeps love alive, but Marcus Aurelius would say that anything forced is already breaking. Love that survives only through anxiety is not love, it is fear wearing a mask. When she stops overthinking, she stops abandoning herself. She no longer waits for messages to feel worthy. She no longer measures her value through attention. This inner shift changes everything. A man can sense when someone is emotionally centered. It removes the invisible pressure to perform, to reassure constantly, to fix emotions he did not create. If he truly cares, he moves closer. If he does not, he fades. And Stoicism teaches that both outcomes are acceptable because peace was never meant to be borrowed from another person. Marcus Aurelius said that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and overthinking lowers that quality every time. Silence then becomes neutral, not painful. Distance becomes space, not rejection. This is emotional strength. For the man, Stoic wisdom offers a mirror. Distance without communication is avoidance, not wisdom. Strength is not disappearing, it is speaking with restraint and honesty. A man who understands this does not leave someone in emotional confusion. He may ask for space, but he explains it briefly. That small clarity prevents unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius valued responsibility over comfort. Avoiding discomfort creates more harm than facing it. Relationships fail not because people need space, but because they misuse it. Space with respect builds trust. Space with silence destroys it. Stoicism does not promise that every relationship will last. It promises that you will not lose yourself trying to save one. When both people practice self-control, misunderstandings shrink. When only one does, truth arrives faster. Either way, the lesson is the same. Do not chase what needs fear to stay. Do not abandon peace to hold on to uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius would remind us that nothing truly meant for you requires the destruction of your inner order. And when inner order is protected, distance loses its power, overthinking fades, and clarity finally replaces confusion. If you stayed till the end, it means this message mattered to you. And when a message matters, it deserves to travel further. Please like this video so the algorithm pushes it to others who need emotional clarity. Share it, because wisdom grows when it is passed on. And subscribe if you want consistent content based on Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy that helps you master your thoughts, your emotions, and your relationships. Your support keeps this channel alive, and together we can build a community that chooses calm over chaos.